Right now, a new to Madison Metro bus crashes into a local restaurant. What witnesses on the bus say led to the crash. Plus, President Trump holds his first cabinet meeting and includes Elon Musk. What we're learning about the administration's next phase of downsizing and a look at how states are trying to help impacted federal workers. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Josh Breiter. Right now, Madison police are still looking for a woman they say caused a city bus to crash into a restaurant. The bus collided into Asian House at Dempsey Road near Milwaukee Street. Officers say a passenger became upset when she learned the bus was not going to her desired stop. Witnesses tell police she began pushing and shoving the driver, causing them to lose control of the bus. The suspect left the area before officers arrived. MPD says no arrests have been made yet. Madison fires say 2 people are injured, and of those injured, 1 had to be hospitalized. An investigation is underway in Fond du Lac County after a deadly officer-involved shooting. Law enforcement says that the person killed refused to follow repeated commands and pulled out what deputies believe to be a weapon. It happened Monday night in a neighborhood near Lake Winnebago. Prior to the shooting, deputies say they chased the suspect through the neighborhood. The person later died at a nearby hospital. Neighbors say that they witnessed much of the chase from their own homes.
And it sounded like somebody hit my trailer with their hand. There was 2 booms. My dogs noticed it more, but I didn't hear any more. Next thing, there's sirens going all over, so I knew something was up.
No one else got hurt. The Fond du Lac County Sheriff's Office has placed the deputy who fired the shots on administrative leave. They have not released the name of the person killed. The Madison Common Council is taking steps they say will make it easier to introduce new housing. The council proposing a set of ordinance changes which will allow more flexibility in how new housing is built. The changes address limitations with floor layout, number of bedrooms, garage and porch specifications, and includes new review standards. The plans have received mixed reaction, but city leaders say this will streamline the process of building more units.
Deep into the weeds of the code, looking at ways to, again, further support missing middle housing. So duplexes, townhomes, small apartment buildings. Looking at ways that we can just simplify the way that we do things, have process improvements around technology, urban design, other things.
The city's ultimate goal is to create 15,000 new homes by 2030. A quarter of these homes would be labeled affordable. Well, temperatures are staying mild for February. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano has your certified no stack year forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, conditions very nice out here temperature-wise. We are dealing, or at least we did deal with a little bit of rain this morning, but right now most of the area is dry. We could see that rain redevelop for the afternoon hours, but similar to this morning, the rain will be on the lighter side for the most part. Again, we did see some pockets of heavy rainfall. That may be possible later today, but again, just a few passing showers for the afternoon and evening. Maybe a few pockets of heavy rain, but those pockets will be very isolated, and it looks like by the time we get to the later overnight hours, a lot of that rain will clear out. Taking a look at the current temperatures, a very nice 47 degrees in Madison, 40s across much of southern Wisconsin, a few isolated spots still in the upper 30s. Looking at the current wind speeds, it is a little bit breezy for a few locations, 13 miles per hour in Madison, 16 down south in Janesville. Other areas dealing with much calmer winds further north. And as we take a look at the high temperatures throughout the afternoon, again, we're going to stay in the middle 40s, but we also will stay mostly cloudy with a few more chances of rainfall before the day is over. And then overnight, temperature is not going to drop too much, only by about 10 degrees. We'll have lows in the middle 30s. So overall temperatures remaining mild, but they're not going to be above normal forever. Now, we're not going to see anything bitterly cold, but colder temperatures are in the forecast for a few days over the next week. I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you then. Thank you. House Republicans narrowly passed a framework for a new budget that would reframe the priorities of the U.S. government. It will pave the way for implementing President Trump's legislative agenda. Lawmakers adopted a budget resolution that proposes raising the debt ceiling by $4 trillion to go for a $4.5 trillion tax cut and at least $2 trillion in spending cuts. This could impact Medicaid, nutritional assistance, and veterans benefits. The bill passed the narrowly divided House by 2 votes after a chaotic night, with 1 Republican and all Democrats voting no. President Trump worked the phones to convince some Republican holdouts to get behind the blueprint.
It's the first important step in opening up the reconciliation process. We have a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we are going to deliver the America First agenda. We're going to deliver all of it, not just parts of it, and this was the first step in that process.
House and Senate Republicans will now have to come together and agree on a budget plan to get something to the president's desk. Senate GOP lawmakers have already expressed key differences, including wanting to avoid deep cuts to Medicaid. President Trump's first cabinet meeting includes a seat at the table for Elon Musk. This comes as the administration prepares to more significantly trim the federal workforce. CBS's Natalie Brand is at the White House.
President Trump's first cabinet meeting of his second term featured his senior advisor, Elon Musk, talking about the administration's Department of Government Efficiency.
DOGE is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste.
CBS News obtained a memo today directing agencies to prepare for large-scale reduction in force and submit reorganization plans by mid-March.
We have cut billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're looking to get it maybe to $1 trillion if we can do that.
Musk would not put a number on anticipated personnel cuts.
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well.
As the administration's layoffs impact communities around the country, cities and states are trying to help.
Arlington County, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., held a standing room only town hall for federal employees Tuesday night. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Trump ally, launched Virginia Has Jobs, a website aimed at connecting laid-off workers with the state's 250,000 job openings.
The way to really think about it is a resource collection. A single point for individuals to look for opportunities.
Other states, including Maryland and Colorado, have launched similar efforts, with an estimated 80% of the federal workforce based outside of Washington, D.C. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The impacts of mass federal firings are being felt here in Wisconsin. Haley Medanowski worked as an administrative operations specialist at the Northern Great Lakes Visitor Center in Ashland for the last 10 months. Herself and 3 coworkers, all in their probationary period, lost their jobs with little warning.
The leader that had to terminate me, she said, I disagree with this. You don't have performance issues. I've voiced my concerns to my leadership that this isn't right.
Haley says the staffing decisions came from either top U.S. Forest Service leadership or the USDA. She says the center's already seen fallout from the decision. The termination comes as Haley is 20 weeks pregnant with her husband, also working a federal job. They believe his job is secure. Still ahead for us this afternoon, what a survey from the Conference Board is showing about consumer confidence, plus why Apple's shareholders are rejecting a proposal to end the company's DEI program.
Another concerning consumer confidence report. The latest survey from the Conference Board showed consumer confidence slid from 105.3 in January to 98.3 in February. That's the biggest month-to-month drop in more than 4 years. The board says those surveyed for the latest report cited concerns over inflation and the uncertainty over trade and tariffs. Apple shareholders have rejected a proposal to end the company's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, or DEI program. It comes as other major U.S. corporations have scaled back their DEI programs following President Donald Trump's executive order banning them in the federal government. Apple is defending its diversity efforts, calling them an integral part of its corporate culture and crediting them for helping make the company one of the most valuable in the world. And now SpongeBob SquarePants fans don't have to live in a pineapple under the sea to get a taste of Bikini Bottom. Meal kit delivery service Home Chef is collaborating with the beloved Nickelodeon cartoon on a new menu. Now through March 21st, customers can order meal options like the Krusty Krab flatbread pizza or Sandy's Texas-style honey barbecue chicken. SpongeBob SquarePants, like CBS News, is part of Paramount Global. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Carissa Lawson.
Here's the stock report at the noon hour. The Dow is down 137 points. NASDAQ is up 99, and the S&P 500 is up 28. Our Call for Action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. We'll have today's farm numbers next, along with the First Warn forecast, and later on Live at 4, a News 3 Now special report preview on accusations of animal abuse against a local beagle farm. Nominations are still open for the Spirit of Service campaign as we honor our local veterans making a positive impact in the community. News 3 Now is partnering with Vortex. All you have to do is log on to channel3000.com and nominate a veteran in your life doing something good. We'll be sharing their stories and you'll get a chance to vote and choose which veteran gets to take home a $5,000 cash prize. A winner will be announced in early April. The time to remove permanent ice shanties for the season is coming soon. The Wisconsin DNR released a list of deadlines based on areas of the state. If your shanty is on a boundary water between Wisconsin and Minnesota, you must remove it by this Saturday. For inland bodies of water in the southern half of the state, you have until Sunday. In boundary waters with Michigan, March 15th is the deadline. Everywhere else, it's March 16th. You can still use portable shanties after the respective deadlines, but you must remove them when you are not using them. Well, a rainy start to our Wednesday, and we're staying mild for now. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano has your certified most accurate forecast. And after this mild weather and rain, no ice is really safe out there.
Yeah, I have seen a few of those lakes kind of having some spots still icy and other spots melted, Lake Mendota specifically. And yeah, you're right. It seems like the ice isn't necessarily safe anymore because temperatures, they're going to continue to be pretty well above freezing. Now, we may continue to see some showers through early tonight, but we're not expecting a lot of rainfall moving forward. And then we will see temperatures get even warmer to end the work week Friday, but it also will be windy, and that will cool the temperatures down a little bit for the weekend. So for the rest of today, expect a continuous cloud cover, temperatures remaining in the middle to upper 40s. Could see a few lower 50s for a few locations. And then overnight temperatures not bad at all. Lows will be in the middle 30s, not too far off from the average high for this time of the year. And as we look at tomorrow's forecast, we are going to see similar conditions, maybe a little bit more sunshine and maybe a little bit cooler of temperatures, but for the most part, mostly cloudy skies with highs in the middle 40s. Now, as we take a look at the wind gust forecast, once we get to Friday, the strong winds will keep the temperatures even warmer, but then it's going to cool things down. Now, for tomorrow, it'll be a little bit breezy, but nothing too crazy. Wind gusts up around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Then we get into Friday. It's going to be very windy on Friday, but winds will be out of the south, gusting possibly up to around 40 to 45 miles per hour. And this is expected to continue into the evening hours. But once we get to the evening hours, the winds will shift a little bit, and we're going to have wind gusts still up around 40 miles per hour. But that shift in winds will cool the temperatures down for the weekend, and will continue to be breezy on Saturday, but a lot calmer by Saturday night and Sunday. Now, although we are going to be cooler, we're still going to be better than a lot of last week. High temperatures will be in the 30s, pretty close to normal for this time of the year. Once we get to Sunday, though, we're going to see almost complete sunshine and calm winds, so that 38 may feel a little bit better. And for the weekend, that also looks like the coolest temperatures over the next 7 days, because it is going to warm back up for Monday and Tuesday and then possibly drop back down a little bit for the end of next week. But as you notice, the high every day is expected to get above freezing. So we're getting into that time of the year where the temperatures we saw last week, that is certainly a thing of the past. And we're going to see, at worst, just kind of cool days here in southern Wisconsin through March. Now, looking at the rainfall forecast, again, some light showers are possible for the rest of today, but we're not going to see much. Could continue to see some light precipitation as we head into Thursday morning. But again, nothing looks too consistent for our area. Once we get into Friday, we are expecting kind of a wintry mix in far northern Wisconsin. Could see some of those sprinkles get into the southern portion of the state, but we're still expected to be dry. And then for the weekend, we have almost a 0% chance of precipitation, with maybe a little bit better precip chances as we get into next work week. But again, at this point in time, nothing is too certain about the precip chances next week. So for the rest of this work week, a few small chances of rain, maybe even some light snow as the overnight lows will get below freezing at some points. Colder, but almost certainly dry over the weekend. And then warming up for next work week. Best chance of precipitation for next week does look to be Wednesday. But again, a lot could still change between now and then. The big story is that even the cold days over the next 10 days are nothing too bad, especially after last Monday. We had those temperatures down in the single digits and below zero. So I have a good feeling that those bitterly cold wind chills we saw last week are a thing of the past, because nothing is suggesting we're going to get even close to that moving forward.
That's some good news. We'll take it, Jacob. Thank you. Millions of Americans are about to see the impact of a 10% job cut at the U.S. Forest Service. This is part of the White House plan to shrink the federal government. More than 325 million people visit national parks and forests each year. Now the remaining staff will have to scale back essential services, including the ones that keep people safe. Here's Ian Lee.
This summer, the family trip to a national forest might look a little different.
I think there's a lot of unforeseen consequences that the general public aren't always aware of.
What do you fear then? What could happen?
Myself and whoever else is out are picking up trash every day. We're clearing the trails for people to access the wilderness. And that's not going to happen this year.
It was everything that I had worked for a long time.
Dalen Grindle, along with Jack Corney and Tim Leedy, recently received a letter each that said they were being fired for poor job performance. What was your reaction when you saw that the reason you're being fired was because of poor performance?
I mean, it's not the real reason.
You know, I put my heart and soul into that job, and that's just not true.
It's pretty devastating to lose this job.
Let's say you just arrived in town and you want some information about the forest, maybe a good place to camp or trail to hike on, or maybe you're scared about bears. You come to a place like this, your local ranger station. But because of the recent firings, this one won't be open anytime soon. The cuts come as wildfires become more frequent and more severe. Show of hands, how many of you were qualified to fight fires? So you guys could have all been on the front lines this summer fighting fires if needed.
Yes.
Yep. Did you guys see yourselves making a career out of the Forest Service?
Yeah, I was going to be in this job for like 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I just had I have an 8-month-old baby right now, so there's like the potential stability there, and yeah, just the longevity. It was definitely going to be probably my last career.
That new father was the sole earner in the family. Their health insurance is now gone, and the ripple effect is going to be felt across entire communities. The Forest Service is often the top employer in rural areas, which also helps facilitate tourism. And in Wyoming alone, tourists spend billions of dollars every year. Ian Lee, CBS News, Lander, Wyoming.
Today, Howard's cooking up a snack from the South in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We've got the perfect thing to serve on a cheese board with chili or simply to eat as is. What could it be? Hullabaloo is about. These crazy popular saltines are so addictive and so simple to make that we've included a version of them in our Ultimate Recipes Across America cookbook. To make them, all you have to do is place some ranch dressing mix in a resealable plastic storage bag, along with a bit of crushed red pepper, garlic and onion powder, and a little vegetable oil. Now we mix this well, add in a couple of sleeves of saltine crackers, and shake it up. By the way, make sure you shake the bag gently so you don't break up the crackers or you'll end up with Alabama firecracker crumbs. Also, locals will tell you to let the crackers sit overnight so that all the flavors really soak in. If you make a big batch today, you can have them on hand whenever you need something surprisingly good. And although they're the perfect go-along with soups and chili, I like them best on their own, as a snack. To get the recipe for our Alabama firecrackers, all you have to do is go online. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a snackable Southern way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Jacob with your final forecast.
Thanks, Josh. We're going to see some light rain possibly continue for much of the day, but it will be very light, and we may continue to see some light precipitation to end the work week. We are going to be warmer by the time we get to Friday, but it is going to be windy Friday. And then over the weekend, it will be a bit cooler, but almost a 0% chance of rain over the weekend. And then warming up again for early next work week with more precipitation chances for Wednesday. But overall, staying on the milder side, even the cold days, not too bad at all.
Thank you, Jacob. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you at 4.